I don't have the best memory of my childhood. Not that my childhood was bad, it wasn't, but I just don't remember that much of it compared to a lot of people. My grandfather always stood out to me, though, which was strange because he was never around very much. The few times he came around for Christmas or some other family occasion, he seemed like a kind but serious man. I remember him taking me and talking to me about shows and showing me coin tricks, and I liked the sound of his deep, rumbling voice as he told me stories about far off lands and fantastic creatures. I remember liking him and feeling sorry for him because underneath it all, he seemed very sad and tired. I knew that my grandmother had died not long before I was born, so I always imagined that was part of the reason as to why he was sad. I say this all to explain that I had limited but positive ideas of my grandfather before a few days ago. Last month, my parents were killed in a car accident coming back from a movie. I lived 2 states away, but as their only child and closest relative, I got the call. The next few hours were a haze of travel and crying and shock. But I know that when I got to the hospital, my grandfather would be there. Sorry, guys. I don't know what it's doing. Um, my apologies. Running into some issues here. Oh, great. Right in the middle of the stream, you had to do this. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to change some settings here. All right. Here we go. Last month, my parents were killed in a car accident. Coming back from a movie. I live 2 states away, but as their only child and closest relative, I got the call. The next few hours were a haze of travel and crying and shock, but I knew when I got to the hospital, my grandfather would be there. Even as an adult, I was amazed at how large a man he was. And when he swept me up in a quiet hug, I cried against him for several minutes, welcoming the comfort. We did the funeral arrangements together and agreed that we could come back in a few weeks to go through all their things and get the house ready to sell it. He had already made clear that regardless of whether they had a will or not, he wanted the house and everything else to go to me. But he would be happy to help to get to know his grandson a bit better. The funerals went well as far as everything to go to me. But he would, sorry, and I went back to my life last week. I got a call. My grandfather and we, what the fuck?